back in 2001, there was a major event called the Maha Kumbh Mela in the cycle of things every 144 years. Over 500 students from both the Institute and friends and students of the Institute went to India for this at that major time. But one of the focuses that they did while they were there, and I say while they were there, I was here as a resident, but was here in Honesdale during this time, but still connected with what was happening there. And they were doing daily havan, or the fire offering. It was to nurture and nourish the forces of nature. And we can see increasingly so, and even what feels like speeding up, the forces of nature being imbalanced. So back then, in terms of 2001, a number of students under the tutelage of Pandit Rajmani Tiganayat started to learn a practice of a group of mantras called the Shat Rudriya. Again, my understanding of it was the main focus was to help rebalance or nurture the forces of nature. The group came back here to Honesdale. This was January of 2001. By the time early spring came, we started doing daily havans here. And this continued mainly because we're here in northeastern Pennsylvania, mainly in the summertime till early to mid-fall, we'd do daily havans. And this lasted several years, again, with the focus of the nurturing the forces of nature, who are increasingly out of balance. Now brings us forth to 2024 and soon to be 2025 in terms of where are we going and what has happened, what's the groundwork. We see all around us the effects of still, again, and even increasingly so, what's happened with nature, species disappearing, decreased birds, bees, the pollinators, just our quality of air and water. And there's a lot of dichotomy amongst people, both in this country as globally. It brings Pandit Rajmani, or we would refer to him often as Panditji or PRT, but mainly Panditji in a respectful manner, has come from a long line of people, seekers, students, of masters, and he has both in his own life been exposed to masters that have guided him on what Vedic mantras might be appropriate that would again help that balancing of the forces of nature. So with his wisdom and guidance from the tradition of the Sri Vidya tradition and Sri Sukta, which is another practice that we've been learning for the last 20 years, but really the last, I'd say probably 10, 15 years as a really increasingly a focus. That will be coming to a conjunct, not the end, but the next step kind of thing for me of this event called the Maha Sri Yaga. There will be 6 different sessions, seekers, students going to our campus in Khajuraho, India, where we have a beautiful campus, and spending time there to both learn and be a student, as well as there'll be, my understanding, daily havan or fire offerings linked to this event. It keeps me hopeful. It keeps me hopeful. Both, I see the young children, I see the environment, like I said earlier, I've observed, I garden a little bit, and I've noticed like the monarchs. I didn't see a monarch this year. There's certain bird species I have not seen. 20 years ago, I saw lots of birds here. We still have lots of birds. We live here at the Institute grounds, we have 400 acres. I consider it a nature preserve. This is her playground. And yet there's the effect of what's happening globally, what's happening nationally. We're not separate from anything, but it's almost the abode of the gods. This Sri Sukta, which is a cluster of 15 mantras, plus the 16th one at the end, come from the Vedas, ancient scripture. Panaji has wisdom to give us to guidance and the connection with the tradition to make that accessible to whether you're just starting out, to a person that has been a student or seeker for a long, long time. The practices go back 1,000+ years, at least minimally. So not to waste the opportunity to see what I need to do to both learn the practice and I'm not perfect, my practice is not perfect, but the sages that have these were revealed to them, I trust, I have faith that even if they were here living on this earth 4,000, 5,000, or whatever years ago, we're being guided by that whole line of extended, unbroken tradition.